Okay, my VP debate takeaways that none of you asked for. Here we go. I will start strong by saying that I don't think either of them won the debate, and I will explain why. But it's going to take me a minute to get there. So, first thing I'll say is that Vance is the better debater. I can't say this is surprising because he went to Yale Law School. Like, I would assume he'd be a pretty good debater. But I will also say that Tim Walz has often spoken about how he isn't very comfortable debating, and I thought he actually held his own. I was anticipating a much more catastrophic performance from him, I'll be honest. You can tell that Vance was purposefully prepped to come out swinging, to come out strong, to come out authoritative, and that was on purpose to try to throw Walz off because they know that Walz doesn't think he's a good debater. And so at first I will say that tactic worked. I didn't think Walz answered the first few questions as eloquently or as well as he could have, but I will also say the first question from Vance, he also used the Kamala Harris card where he, instead of answering the question, was like, I'm a middle class, and I'm like, oh my god. I get that this might be the only opportunity they have to introduce themselves to a lot of Americans who don't participate in politics other than watching debates, but oh my god, can you just answer the question, please? Like, we don't need your life story. Psh. Walz started to find his groove once he started talking about things that he has more experience in and issues that he cares more about, like healthcare and child and family policy. And I will say he was very strong in the fact that he has receipts to back up his expertise in those things because Minnesota slays and they have a lot to show for the work they've done in Minnesota. JD Vance started to lose a little bit in my eyes when he kept having to go back to attacking other people. But I also want to highlight JD's mastery of, like, sometimes he would start answering a question and you'd be like, that wasn't the question. What are you trying to do? But he'd always turn it back around and say, no, I want to answer this question. That's like classic debate protocol. And he knew what he was doing. So I got to give him some flowers there that whenever he would sometimes seem like he was going off the mark, he would always go back and at least try to answer people's questions. Now, I will say, did he always answer people's questions? No. I also appreciated that both of the moderators called them out for their bullshit and like kind of forced them to stand there and answer tough questions. For example, Tim Walz in the China trip, I guarantee you, he did not know that question was coming. I'm pretty sure he prepped for the military service call out question, and I don't think that he was prepped for that one at all, just based on the way that he reacted. And I will say, as a fellow drama queen who often like exaggerates my life story and exaggerates things that I've done, it actually made me like him a little bit more because I was like, aw, fellow diva, fellow exaggerating diva, like I see you. I also thought it was good that Vance also got called out for his past comments on Trump, and I actually thought he answered that very eloquently. But I think the thing about the debate is it really matters how you start and it really matters how you finish. And I thought Vance had it at the start, and towards the end though, I think Walz started to pick it up a little bit more. Walz had great responses about attacks on our democracy, whereas Vance like just couldn't answer them honestly without making the candidate that he's representing look bad. And that's where I'll take my final thought about this debate. I don't think either of them won this debate because I don't think it was about winning objectively. I think it was about winning with their like chosen audiences. And it was about winning based on whether your audience is more receptive to a fear message or to a hope message. And so depending